are
the beauty
using
blogger
the
thing now.
fantastical stairs as a tripod for this couch-centric undercar.
In the car?
Oh yeah, undercar. Yeah, we
Next
should
to
do
car.
that. We should stand on top of cars.
We
when
gotta
review
get our
movies.
prepositions.
I can
correct
get on
here,
top of
guys.
your
No,
Honda.
that would be great if you like pulled up in front of a movie theater, stood on the car, and shouted spoilers at people lining up.
Like little
What?
pigs.
I'm pretty sure
Little
someone
review.
would kill you.
They all die in the
Pretty
end.
sure I'd kill you.
So, I guess we'll just get started. We saw Guardians of the Galaxy. with,
Amazing movie, go see it, you're caught up.
yeah, basically.
They all die in the end.
Shut up, Chris.
The
I
bad
will
guy.
drag you on camera.
The bad guy dies in the end, but that's also kind of a given. You know what? I've heard complaints that this bad guy was one-dimensional, but I feel like he had enough dimension. Like, he himself wasn't bringing much to the table, but I felt like if you read between the lines, he was actually enough of a bad guy.
You
He
learned
was a
he was a
starter
dick
bad
and a
guy.
bad guy.
Huh?
There we
Starter
go.
bad guy.
Starter bad guy, yeah.
Well, I think
Sledgehammer. How many dimensions do you
I think
need?
the people who were mad about him were mad because he was way more powerful in the comic books, and he was kind of a little, I hesitate to say neutered,
Bleh.
but he was a little.
Eh.
Tone now.
I mean, let's be fair. Marvel hasn't had a great track record with villains outside of Loki.
Yeah, they really haven't, and we haven't seen enough of Thanatos to actually make
Thanos.
Thanos, right?
I
Thanatos
thought-
is the Greek idea of chaos. Thanos,
Is the Marvel version of chaos with a letter missing.
yeah, but we haven't seen enough of him to really get a feel for what he's going to be like as a villain.
Oh, laziest Stan Lee cameo ever. They just pointed the camera. Oh yeah, he's macking on all the chicks, and then they move the camera on. It's like, guys, you're not even trying at this point.
I guess he was just tired of being that old guy playing chess or that old guy talking on the news.
Yeah, his best cameo was in The Amazing Spider-Man. When he's in the library, the Lizard Dude and Spider-Man are fighting like 20 feet behind him, and he's just listening to opera music.
Oh, come on! The one from the Winter Soldier was brilliant.
I don't even
I don't
remember that.
Yeah,
The
remind-
security guard and
I guess
Cap's
it was-
uniform
Oh.
that's missing, and
Oh,
he's
right,
like,
that.
"I am so fired."
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I remember now.
No, but on the topic of opera, this movie had a great soundtrack.
Not
oh
opera.
my gosh.
Not opera, 1980s pop music.
Worth
Where's
going
some Jackson
for the
vibe?
music.
Like, I know no one has sold
down.
albums of like soundtracks for movies since the 90s, but I would buy this one.
They actually
Yeah.
Totally would.
I'm not sure you can buy this soundtrack. I think you have to buy the individual
The songs individually,
songs.
yeah.
I don't think
Hey.
they'll make
Ooga chaga, ooga chaga, ooga chaga. Ah, that's the one from the preview, and yes, it is in there.
and
And it is,
sings.
yeah, he does
does
sing.
sing.
There's like
He sings
multiple
and dances.
scenes of Star-Lord dancing. They use dancing. Okay, I actually don't want to spoil that, but the dancing is actually relevant to their eventual scheme to
They
save the
reference
galaxy.
a certain
Wonderful.
movie about dancing
Oh, it's-
multiple times.
Out. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon established.
But
Because
don't get
Kevin
drawn
Bacon.
in- guys, don't get drawn in by his pelvic rhythm.
What was that? Oh, I knew it was the greatest phrase ever. It was pelvic something. What was it?
I don't
Pelvic-
remember the exact phrase, but that just means you have to go to the movie to actually see
Oh,
Yeah.
the most amazing blow off I think I've
it
ever
was
seen.
fantastic.
And, the Avengers had individual movies to establish why we care about Iron Man, why we care about Captain America, why we care about Thor. I still don't care about Thor, but they had a movie to establish
But
that.
it's glistening golden locks. I mean, come on,
And
I don't care
the
about
Hulk.
those.
But Guardians managed to establish the backstories, or, well, give us a loose idea of the backstories, with the exception of Star-Lord.
No,
And Groot. We didn't get much of Groot's
We got
backstory.
because he says, I am Groot.
Because
But
of
it meant
Literally,
something to
His
me.
entire dialogue consists of 5 words. I am Groot, and we are Groot.
That is still 5 words.
yeah, but you got
How
enough
did you do
of
that?
Groot-
I'm pretty sure the answer is I am Groot.
You got enough through his interactions
It was
and
excellent.
through his facial expressions that you got a feel for.
Him and Rocket were really well animated.
I
Yes.
love Rocket.
This
Bradley
was Vin
Cooper is
Diesel's
Rocket.
best role ever.
Yes.
Because let's face it, all
Iron
he had to do was
Iron Man.
memorize,
Iron
like you
Man.
said, 5 words.
No, not Iron Man. Iron Giant.
Iron
No.
Giant was.
He was the voice of the Iron Giant.
He was the voice of
He
the Iron
existed
Giant. But in the comics,
Yes.
if you guys actually do know anything about the comics,
Wait,
Groot.
Did I hit the record button? Shit.
God damn it, Alex!
Yes, I did. Oh, thank God.
I am leaving that in the
You
final
have to
cut.
leave that in.
I would have killed you on camera and put it on
no,
YouTube.
he
The
would
end
not
of
have.
Eagle Land.
But in the comics, Groot and Rocket in one of the reboots were actually a symbiotic pair because Rocket's people protected and nurtured Groot's people.
See,
So-
that
But
would
in
have
this
been helpful to know.
But in
Well, I'm
this
not
version,
sure if
Rocket
that's
is
the
the brains
universe
and
they're
Groot is the
using.
muscle.
I would like to point out.
Groot has some pretty awesome muscle.
At
Yes.
the end credits, they said no raccoons or
Tree people.
tree people were harmed. So
Tree creatures.
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
that too. That was
We-
hilarious.
I'm getting a Groot.
You're getting
I'm getting a Groot.
Do you want a small Groot? That
I want a small
Shakes
one that
it.
goes into a big one.
Kinda
And
like-
then I will.
Those dancing, those perpetual motion flower pots.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
They have a bunch already.
We do. We have a bumblebee.
But we need to get one that's in the shape of the likeness
A
of Groot.
Groot.
I am at least going to carve one out of a
Convergence
tree.
culture, would you
If I
pretty,
can't get a real one.
please make my brother a Groot?
Someone.
I was shocked
I-
at how good Dave Bautista was.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
He's a wrestler. We haven't had
Excuse
a
me, I was saying since I saw this movie, but Dave Bautista, no one. Okay, so what?
Yeah, I said, so what? He's the wrong wrestler. You have The Rock to choose from, and you chose Batista?
better
Batista
choice.
was good.
Well,
He was
first
a
off,
better
The Rock
choice.
was
I will
already
say,
filming
like-
3 different movies by the time this one was being
Yeah.
done.
He's
So,
The Rock. He could do it.
well, no, he could totally do it, and people would have flocked to it a lot quicker.
And some of the best jokes
I
were from Dave
don't think
Bautista.
that anyone could have done it better though. Than
But also,
Batista.
I mean-
like that role was perfect.
I don't think The Rock
Yeah,
would have been
he
able to
was
pull
good.
off the deadpan quite as well.
No,
that's
I-
not The
I don't
Rock's
He's got too
persona.
much eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, that being said, when he
find
realized
that his
that
people
Star
take
Lord
things quite
went
literal.
back for a recorder, having that rock eyebrow would be just as funny as the "you're an imbecile."
While we're talking about Batista, let's just say the makeup as well as the CG, but the actual makeup used.
It wasn't makeup. They just turned his tattoos red. That wasn't makeup. Those
No,
was
those-
yes, those
Those
on
were
his body.
raised from his skin. That was
Nah,
makeup,
those are where his tattoos are, Christina.
and
Ask Brandon. He and
all
I
of
are
the
both
ones on
wrestling
his
fans.
face.
Chris,
And
I haven't watched
also
wrestling since
the
2007.
Gamora
He was
makeup.
there in 2007.
Okay, what I will say is, I believe that Batista's real tattoos were there. If
Yeah.
you looked at him closely, his real tattoos were there, and then they raised the rest of his skin
Yes.
and made it red. Because his tattoos were green in the film.
No.
But
that
I
red
actually
stuff on his
think
body
Gamora's
a
was
tattoo.
not actually makeup. It was too
I missed
soft on
both.
her
The last time I
skin.
watched
I
wrestling
thought
was
some of
WrestleMania
it was
27.
makeup for the close-ups
that?
and then
No.
the rest because
That's
I
when The Rock
read
came
a few
out.
You didn't
interviews
see
where they
XXX
talked
Yeah.
about the makeup
Undertaker's
for
stink
her
If it
and
was,
Batista.
if it was makeup,
Don't care.
then they did a fantastic job because it
It was
looked
a cop
really
out.
like smooth
It
on her
was.
skin, not cakey at all.
Even Batista
It was
went on record saying
amazing.
it
Zoe
was a bad idea.
Saldana.
Yeah, like in X-Men, the originals with Rebecca
Mystique.
Romaine as Mystique, you could see that it was paint.
Yeah, you could.
Very clearly see that it was paint.
Zoe,
They
yeah, it
probably
didn't look
softened
like
it
green
after
paint.
they
It
put
didn't
it
look
on
like
her.
paint.
But
I-
her
I-
wig was also really cool.
Zoe Saldana, oddly enough, I feel like she wasn't the weak link of this movie. It's just they didn't script enough for her
Yeah.
to do. Like what she had, she did a really good job with. She just didn't get enough to do.
I do like when she just kept flipping out on people, though.
Yeah, yeah. She,
I feel like they
her and
had
Star-Lord,
to.
her and Star-Lord did have good chemistry though, which is important.
I feel like they had to craft the previews to make Star-Lord seem like the main character. Because if they hadn't, and you just went into the movie, you would have thought Rocky was the main
Rocket
character.
or-
He had the most lines, the most action, came up with the most
Well,
plans.
that's because that's Bradley Cooper. He's the biggest name actor in that movie.
But nobody knows. I mean, I kind of knew, but it was forgetful.
It's
Forgettable.
most people go into the movie and are like, hey, let's go see that movie where Bradley Cooper
Is a
is
raccoon.
a raccoon. No, they're thinking, hey, let's go see that movie where a talking raccoon shoots aliens.
Yeah.
He never shot the gun he had.
Yeah, all the time.
No,
he
no,
did?
the
What gun?
4-barrel gun he had.
Oh yeah, that
No,
one.
he shot random other guns. You're right.
He shot every other gun but the 4-barrel gun they show him with In
And
the
they
previews.
most it that you can buy the gun and play with. He never actually uses
They
that
did
gun.
no.
He
did
shot it once, but that was to stun Star-Lord
Yeah.
when they were in Nova.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Before they get arrested.
This is gonna hurt like hell.
By
Oh.
the way, about the guns, they use a lot of electric. Do you call it a bullet at that point?
It's basically a fancy
It's a
dancy
stun gun.
taser.
Yeah, I mean.
It looks like it hurt though.
But by the time they start killing the Reavers or whatever, the Necro Warriors, they start using actual bullets and blasting holes in people.
Yeah.
Because screw those guys.
Also, in the thing when they said in the beginning they had a thing for the toys and it said
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
that
get
was
out of
weird.
ammo, it pops out and shoots 2 more.
We didn't
I
get to see
wanted
that.
that in the movie too. Like I'm sitting here
You
going,
see him
this is a
loading it.
spoiler alert for the movie because they're gonna have him
Yeah,
shoot.
you
They're
see-
gonna say you're out of ammo and it's gonna pop out and he's gonna shoot somebody with the extra
Yeah.
ammo.
You see, I was waiting for that. They advertised that toy, and it's like,
You
okay,
see
there's gonna
him
come a scene,
loading
he's
the
out of
extra
ammo.
bullets.
The bad guys are gonna start laughing at him, and then boom, 2 more shots.
Nope. You
Not
see him
one
loading
scene.
them, and that's it. It's
Oh, and
like that.
Zoe Saldana's character's sister is probably coming back.
Karen
Because-
Gillian's
'Cause
character.
she-
The blue robot lady.
No.
Karen
Same.
Gillian from from Doctor Who.
Yeah, so we'll get to see
Who
more
did
of
she play the
her.
doctor?
She was
Amy?
Amy Pond.
Which one was
You
that?
haven't reached her
Redhead.
yet.
Which doctor was that? 11.
She's
Oh, the
very
redhead?
famous redhead.
Ah,
I actually
wow!
like, I, was
I
telling
didn't
Christina,
recognize her at all.
I thought it was
What's with
Rachel
Marvel
Lee
and
Cook.
getting hold of
If
Doctor Who
anybody
characters?
remembers her from She's All That and stuff,
Sci-fi.
and Josie and the Pussycats, I thought it was Rachel Lee Cook. Looks just like her.
Okay, Stanley cameo
Great
was
only people.
lame. You need to keep an eye out for Lloyd Kaufman. I swear to God, Lloyd Kaufman has just like a second cameo in this movie. He's just in the background, and they don't draw attention to him.
Let's tell the fair people who that is.
Lloyd Kaufman is the guy behind Troma Pictures. They've made a lot of really schlocky, glorious movies like Tromeo and Juliet
Schlocky. Yeah.
and
Word of the day.
The Toxic
Schlocky.
Avenger. So, if you've heard of any of those, he's the guy behind basically all of that.
Today's on the couch in the car is brought to you by the word
Schlocky. Children, let's
And
say
the
it
letter
together.
S.
Schlocky.
You need to have
Continuing on with the actual point of this video.
Oh,
What's the point? What?
The prison was a pretty hilarious. That was probably when the movie was at its
It's
most
like the
fun.
worst prison ever. Why do they not have any functioning?
I don't know, I
prisons?
kind of liked the bit about joking about the leg. Joking about the leg.
They take a guy's prosthetic leg for really no reason.
Alex.
By the way,
Spoilers!
Don't worry, I'll hit him for you later.
Oh, and don't stick around for the second after credit scene, because I'm just going to spoil that for you right now. It's Howard the Duck. The second after credit scene is Howard the Duck, who's in the collector's collection. And he's not even well animated. Like, compare him to Rocket, and they clearly just threw that together at the last
They
minute.
own him, so why not throw him in as a troll?
He is
They basically
Seriously,
said we
people-
have to give them an after credit scene, so we'll give them an
Yeah.
after credit
You
scene.
people are making the lives hard on those poor people who have to clean the theater by waiting to the end of our movies. You deserve to be punished. Howard the Duck.
There is the one after credit scene, so the second the movie ends, don't let off, but it comes like what?
It comes very,
30
very quickly.
seconds after.
Yeah.
Like after they go through the main names.
Yeah,
Right.
once it starts scrolling, you know you can just
You
go.
can leave.
Trust us. It's
You
not,
know, you
it
just
wasn't worth
ruined
it.
like the perfect collective laughs of what the fuck by telling them that.
See, but that's the thing. Most people don't even know what the hell Howard the Duck is. It's a
I
talking.
know,
I thought it was
I
hilarious.
didn't know.
It's a talking duck.
I
It's
thought
an
it was
anthrop-
supposed to be the Aflac duck, like
It's an
on
anthropomorphic
crack.
duck, and it's technically part of the Marvel
And
universe.
he had a movie
it was
that
an
was
absolute
really creepy
troll,
because
but
he
it was
fell
so
in love with
perfect.
a woman.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
human
It was
woman.
like a Jim Henson duck puppet
Kind of like
actually
the Bee movie?
seducing a woman.
Like where the bee falls in love with the person.
Yeah,
only this one was really creepy.
And they
puppet
actually had a
thing.
scene where like she's undressing for the duck
Yeah.
behind a curtain. You can't see anything, but it's still creepy as hell because he's a very obvious puppet.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Maybe
Either
it's
that-
the same puppet. That's why it was animated so poorly.
You're welcome, guys, for us warning you about
Yeah,
this
don't
one.
just don't stick around for it. It's not worth your time.
And apparently, don't look up the duck because he's creepy.
Yeah, please don't. You will thank us for it when you've wasted a couple minutes of your
Duck
life you
tits.
won't get back.
It's better than wasting a couple minutes than an hour on a bad movie.
This was a fun romp of a movie.
So
I
yeah,
don't even have anything to say about Star-Lord. He was just kind of a standard good guy.
his entire character development was told in the trailers.
Do not even think about it.
The trailer censored that for a reason, you know.
Warning: inappropriate images.
Actually, I was kind of shocked at just how much profanity and
Yeah.
like people dying, because there were a lot of little kids in that movie, and I can imagine there were a couple uncomfortable parents.
Yeah. I could
Especially
see it being
considering the
fabulous.
neighborhood we were in to see this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see it being a fabulous date movie though, because it's not too actiony.
There's
and
a,
it's-
there's a little bit of romance.
There's a tiny
in
bit
there.
of romance, but you're both going to enjoy it, and it gives you something to talk about after.
Yeah.
You know, Malik Critico is gonna lose his mind. This is the second movie in a row that
You're
I'm
supposed to
actually-
like this movie.
Also, if you're not a big fan of contemporary comedy movies like me, I'm not a big fan of bathroom humor. Let's say
They don't
I didn't
really have any
think
of
that this movie pushed it for me. I was comfortable with the humor.
This is
The whole way
a
through,
very
so.
script heavy for jokes. There's not a lot of really physical comedy. There's a little bit, but it's mostly characters who are clearly different people butting heads.
Yeah,
It's
especially-
not solidly
Rocket
what
and
I like to
Star-Lord
call
were
male
constantly
humor,
referencing
like
things
the
that
hangover
people
and
almost
stuff
know
like
nothing
that.
about anymore.
It's
Yeah.
funny for everybody.
It's comfortable humor if you don't like humorous comedy movies
It's
now.
actually,
you're
it's-
still going to find this funny
It's
without
probably
pushing
closest
the
to
edge.
British humor. Like it's
Yeah.
not full on British humor, but that would be its closest relative. But yeah, this is just a solid movie. I don't think it's my favorite of the Marvel movies, not with Avengers and the Winter Soldier existing, but it's a very good movie.
I don't know. I think it's because I've seen Avengers. I haven't seen the Avengers a lot, but I saw it a little too many times for it to still be a good movie for me.
All right,
And with
so
this
did
being
you
the-
write down the previews?
One second, Melissa, what was it that you told me as we were leaving about the movie and why you liked it?
Hell if I know.
It's been like 20 minutes.
A little bit of
Alright.
a burnout from traditional superheroes.
Yeah, like I'm so done with normal superhero movies because that's all they're turning out because they're big money makers.
Yeah,
And this one, like, I didn't want to see it.
Well, we have Batman
it's
and
much more.
Iron Man,
It's
thank
much
for
more
that.
of a space
Yeah,
opera.
I was like, could we go see something else, please?
It's
'Cause I'm
more
tired of
along the
superheroes,
lines
but
of Star Wars.
it was entertaining. Yeah, like it was more of a movie than a comic book in action.
Which is, I mean, it's almost completely non-continuity for the entire Marvel thing, and basically all of them could be killed by a bullet to the head, with the exception of Groot, who is a tree and rather hard to
And
kill.
fantastic.
And the reason
Fantastic.
for going to the movie, other
You
than
pretty
music.
much.
His vocabulary
like
consists of I
fireflies
and
inside
am
him.
and Groot, exclusively in that order.
There was quite a bit of actual wonder in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's a really
It's pretty.
big scene with like a force field. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was one of the coolest things I've seen in a
Yes.
long time.
They do a lot of stuff to kind of recapture your attention, and you're just sitting there like, why are we spending time on this? But it's cool, so.
It's, it doesn't like really hit me in my emotional center, but oh man, did I have fun.
Mhm.
All right, so I
Um,
remember the first preview we had.
The first preview was actually before the.
Yeah, it was like a specialty preview for a football movie.
Now that one I did
The
not
game
write down.
stands tall.
The game stands
The
tall.
game stands tall.
Based on a true story, which I'm kind of familiar with. I don't know the whole story behind it, but
Remember the Titans was a good movie. This looks like it could also be good.
it has potential to be up there with Remember the Titans, but I don't think it's going to reach
It
that
doesn't
level
have
of amazingness.
Denzel.
It does not have Denzel. It doesn't have anyone nearly as good as Denzel
Or
Washington.
Sandra Bullock, so it's not getting to the Blindside level either.
And
so.
Never saw The Blind Side.
Oh my gosh.
If
I'm like wounded now.
We need to educate
You
him.
have
Don't
to
worry,
see
we'll
that
take care of
movie.
it.
okay,
I mean,
so
I actually-
what was the first one you got? Because I don't remember. kind of stuff.
Expendables 3. If you liked 1 and 2, go see 3. If you
Hey,
didn't
they've
like
got
1
even
and
more
2,
people, and in this
Harrison
one,
Ford's in it.
And hey, in this
Was he
one
in
they
the
seem
other
to have
ones?
actual female action stars. There's not a lot of them, but there's
She
at
was
least
super
one.
familiar, but I don't know who she was, so I guess she's not that
Yeah,
important.
I-
They've got to get Cynthia Rothrock at some point.
Antonio Banderas is in it.
Oh yeah, he was in it.
Since
Antonio
when's he an
Banderas.
action
I
star?
know,
He's
right?
Zorro.
Well,
Also-
Are they giving him a sword? Or otherwise,
Once
I
upon
don't.
He
a time
was
in Mexico,
in-
he was
yeah,
in
Is
it.
Once
that
Upon
an
a
action
Time.
movie?
Yes, because
Yes,
they have
exactly.
that one scene where they're all in their
The one scene-
mariachi guitar
Yeah.
things, using like 800 million bullets or whatever, and then he plays his guitar, breaks his guitar open, and pulls out a
he was
sawed-off
also
shotgun
in
and
the
shoots
other
somebody.
one that turned out to be a part of the Spy Kids universe. Not the Spy Kids, but the other one with the adults. And Word
What?
of God is they're connected to Spy Kids, and he was in that.
What?
Yeah, I know.
There was a
it's kinda
Spy
weird.
Kids spin-off?
No, it was created first, and then Spy Kids, and then Word of God connected them. But he was in that as an action thing.
I'm gonna have to look into this
Yeah,
because
look
I
on
like
that on
Spy Kids
Wikipedia.
1.
Anyway, Expendables 3.
It's Expendables. You know what
It's
you're getting into at this
Expendables.
point.
I've only seen the first one. I
agreed.
wasn't that impressed with it. I'm constantly told the second one was much better.
By your
I'll
brother.
see when I get to it.
So,
Jason Statham should be in charge of everything because he's hot.
I don't
I'm
know
not
if they.
I'm not that big of a Stallone fan, actually.
I just don't
but
think
I've
they
seen the
should let
Rocky
Stone-
movies.
No, Statham.
I don't think they
No,
should let.
Statham I love.
I don't think they
He's
should
in.
let Stallone direct. Stallone is not an action director. I mean,
I
he
think
directed
he should
Rocky, and
just
Rocky is a
retire
very
to
good
a-
movie. But
To a nice home.
all right, so what was the next one you got there?
Dumb and Dumber 2.
20 years later, they make another Dumb and Dumber
And that's
movie.
two
Which is
as
the
in
type of
T-O.
Humor we were talking about
Yeah.
previously.
And I'm not
That
gonna
I'm
lie,
not a
that
fan
was a
of.
really funny preview.
But I bet
Jim
that was
Carrey.
the only.
Being
Part
an
of it that
idiot
I would-
again.
It doesn't look like the worst thing ever, and it's probably going to be one of the better comedies to come out in a while, but that does not set the bar particularly high.
If it's
It
your
really doesn't.
thing, you're probably gonna love it. If it's not, you're gonna
All
hate
you
it.
need to know is Jim Carrey's involved, so there's
And he's
some
They
level
got
of
they
humor.
got the original two guys.
It is
so.
the original two guys,
Jim Carrey is
and
playing
they are
Jim
true
Carrey.
to the timeline, so it's not like all of a sudden it's set like 6 months after.
They have a
the first
really
last
dumb
movie.
reason for why they're older.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is playing Jim Carrey. That's all
Yeah.
you need to know.
That's pretty much it.
But yeah, so that's happening, and sure, why the hell not?
The next preview, which I thought looked absolutely beautiful, was The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies is the new name for The Hobbit 3.
Can I just say, this movie should not exist. It should be 5 minutes. Bilbo gets rocked, dropped on head, black screen.
yeah.
He wakes up, sees an eagle, and that's it.
Yeah, having read the book, I'm just surprised they made an entire movie of the Battle of the Five Armies, because the Battle of the Five Armies is like a chapter.
But it looks
And nobody
so
knows
pretty.
what actually happens because Bilbo is the narrator of the book and he is out like a light.
But it looks so pretty.
It does look so nice.
If you want to go see a movie for awesome cinematography and more of The Hobbit, yeah, sure, but
And
I
Orlando
cannot.
Bloom. Just throwing that out
Oh,
there
and
for you.
God,
one
get
who looks
into
just like
the-
him, Luke Owen, the Bard.
That is so true.
Yeah,
And
And
we-
he looks like
and
him
we don't
as
know
Will
what
Turner,
the fifth.
which I'll
What is
take.
the fifth army? We've got elves, humans,
Oh, you know
orcs,
this.
and then the
Dwarves.
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 Trees.
No,
Dragons?
not the Ents.
No,
No,
they
the
were
Ents had
the
nothing to do with
goblins,
it.
the
Goblins.
orcs,
Goblins.
and then human, elf, dwarf, who were all
So
fighting
they're-
amongst themselves, and then
And
the
fighting
two
the
bad
other
guys.
two.
Shut up.
And then the eagles show up, so the eagles might be considered another army.
I doubt
And then the
it.
trees show up because
No.
that's
Oh,
what
Jay,
those
Jay,
entire
Jay,
franchises were
Excuse
about.
you,
Deus
imps.
Ex Machina are the Eagles.
If I
Okay.
Very
may
much so.
quickly digress, Luke Owen, we are not 100% sure of this, but Melissa and I think he is the one from the new Dracula. We saw a brief preview
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah, there
before
was-
the
this was-
Possibly. That is a research thing.
That
Yeah.
is a research
We didn't.
thing.
This wasn't a preview we
Right.
got in the movie theater, but it was a thing that was showing on like a TV
Looks
outside.
really good.
It's
It
a
looks
Dracula
awesome.
movie set back in like the 1500s when Dracula was like made. So
But,
hey, new
yeah.
angle on it.
But
And
it
it's
looks
like-
very cinema.
It's a legit vampire movie. They're not going to sparkle. They aren't going to fall in love with the princess. Well, they might, but they're going to eat them too. So
Yeah. Okay.
The
And-
next preview was Annie, which is
Again.
really looking to be a fun movie, actually.
It
Fun in a really family-friendly way, but it also looks like
It looks
really
like a
funny
great
for
movie to take kids
crazy
to.
people like me.
Or people who remember Annie and
or
like
Hair.
into theater. It looks like it's going to be a really good
You see, I
reproduction
don't
of the
remember
show.
It
Annie
does.
that well, so I'm
I
actually looking forward to
loved Annie. In fact, we even bought the direct to VHS sequel.
this. God has
To
a path
Annie.
for us all.
Did
Your
they ever
path
make a
needs to be
DVD
away
of it?
from this car.
Did they ever make a DVD of it? The
Probably,
direct-to-VHS?
but we lost the VHS, but it was after
It's
she
not
was
worth
adopted, and it
relooking.
was really cool. It was fun when we were kids.
So yeah, they're making a black version of Annie, and sure.
Which
Jamie Foxx, who can sing and dance and act, because I have seen his work on musicals in the past.
Jamie
Yeah,
Foxx
no,
is
and-
involved.
Fun fact for those of you who didn't know, Willow Smith was actually supposed to be Annie, but she dropped out because she was just getting like really overwhelmed with stuff. And
Well,
I
that's
mean, she's,
because
like,
that's
11.
because
Yeah.
Will Smith is trying to force his children into fame.
No, she really wants to be into stuff, but she like
Lacks
with
the
her
talent.
song, like people were it was just too much for her. Like she's still a little kid. You gotta
Good
remember
song.
she's a little kid. And the Smith family actually has this really cool thing where only one of them does a project at a time, so that the rest of the family can support whoever's on the project.
Mm.
Which
But-
is why Will Smith does a lot fewer things now.
But
He still needs to stop buying movies for Jaden.
Annie does not look like it will be bad. It may not be your thing, but it looks like it could be good.
It's a movie that's definitely worth at least looking into.
Next was Night at the Museum. The title for the third one is
The
Secret
Mystery
of the Tomb.
Secret.
Secret of the Tomb.
Robin Williams needs to be in better movies.
You see, it's if it wasn't,
Better movies.
it's not that I.
Please. You have a gorgeous young naked pharaoh, mostly naked. Excuse me, topless.
Naked
And then
Pharaoh.
yes, then they're in London. Then there's Robin Williams. Then there's freaking dinosaurs.
Lancelot.
Lancelot. Oh my god.
And remember,
Sir
the Egyptians
Lancelot,
did
at your
not wear
service.
underwear.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, there
President of
you
the
go.
You
United
know, you
States.
can pretend.
No,
If
The
Somebody
thing
was
with the
naked
Night
at
at the Museum
18.
movies, the main problem I have with the Night at the Museum's movies is that they're not funny enough or entertaining enough to justify the use of such a kick-ass concept. That is such a cool idea for a series of movies, and they're just not good enough.
You see, my biggest issue
Don't
with
you
the
want
Night at the
Pocket Size
Museum
Owen
movies
I do not
is
want Tiny Owen Wilson.
I hate Owen Wilson. Honestly,
I really don't like him either. His nose looks funny.
It's not his nose. I just find him
It is his
annoying.
nose.
Like,
like
honestly,
his
if I
brother
ever
way
see
better.
another movie with him and Vince Vaughn together, I might actually kill myself.
I didn't hate the internship, but I like Luke Wilson way better.
Like, after the Wedding Crashers, I was considering throwing my TV out the window because
Really? 'Cause
that movie
was
sucked.
that was supposed to be
I don't
like
even
one of the
remember
last
that movie.
actually good comedies.
Well, God no.
All right, so after that one we
Next
had number 6,
was,
I believe.
The last one,
no,
right?
no, we had two more. The next one was honestly something based off of a children's book, not a young adult book, a children's book.
book.
Alexander and the Horrible
No Good, Very Bad Day. I remember this
A
book.
movie
I never
I
read it, but
have no intentions of seeing.
What is
I
with
think
you
it
and
looks
Steve Carell?
cute.
Steve Carell is not funny.
Yes, he is.
He's obnoxious every time something comes out of his mouth. I do not like him.
You are
I
you
like
are
him.
provably wrong about Steve Carell not being funny.
I don't like him. I've seen almost everything he's been in. He has not once been funny to me.
Why, if you dislike him, have you seen his things?
Because I keep giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Well,
The last movie
Back
I saw
to the
him in was
movie.
Evan Almighty.
Bring it
That's
back,
he's
pull it
opposite
back,
Morgan
pull it
Freeman.
back, rein it in.
this movie seems to have almost nothing to do with the book. So, you know, if you want a good family
It has
comedy,
a whole lot to do with the title.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a good family comedy, this is the one you take.
It
the
did
kids
look
to
like
and
it
have
If you
fun.
have a brother, sister, daughter, son, nephew, niece, anything like that, and you want to keep them quiet for 2 hours, this movie looks like it'll do it.
And
Other
it
than
actually
just
it
10.
actually
It might
looked
be a
like it
little-
had good
No,
slapstick.
I think you could drag a 12-year-old to it, and they would say they hate it, but they would actually like it.
I would
Because that's how 12-year-olds are.
Okay.
This did
Yeah.
seem like it had some good physical comedy, but it didn't look like a smart comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a kangaroo in it.
Yeah,
There
they,
is a
they do that
kangaroo.
hippie hop
There's
joke.
a kangaroo. But again, you know, it's something that I think Melissa called it with the 12-year-olds, but I wouldn't try and drag your 16-year-old
No.
to it. And
This is
expect
not a
them to
date
like
movie.
No! I mean, if you want the date to go very, very poorly, I mean, that's your business.
Then take them to see Human
Or
Centipede.
if you have your brother and sister with you on the date, your younger brother and sister.
That's a horrible date right off the bat.
Drop
You're
them
right.
into that movie and then go see another movie with your date.
Alright, the last one was number 6.
Big
Big
Hero,
Hero
6,
6.
and
Oh, Big
it's
Hero
the one with the
Who's your Superman?
marshmallow guy that the guy's
Shima.
trying to shove the armor on.
This one actually gave us a lot more
Yes.
plot than the last time we saw this preview. This
Yeah.
one's apparently there's going to be like a man with a kabuki mask and like little robot drone things that's going to try and take over the world.
That he controls with ESPN.
Yeah, that he
ESP.
controls with ESPN.
I'm actually really looking forward to this
I
one
think
because
so
it looks legitimately funny.
I think it'll be
it's
on
animated
par.
Disney, and it looks like it's actually going to be a movie for boys for a change.
It'll be
from
on par
Disney.
with Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes.
I think, as far as
They
plot.
use a
And
Wreck-It
Wreck-It
Ralph.
Ralph did help write this or
Yeah.
produce. So it's going to be a lot like Wreck-It Ralph.
Mhm.
Which was good, but you know, it's just not. It's
I
probably
actually enjoyed
it's
Wreck-It
probably
Ralph.
not
I
going
like
to be the
Wreck-It Ralph.
phenomenon that Frozen was,
But it
regardless
is
of the actual
trying to
plot.
leech off.
Yeah,
of
you call it a
Frozen.
phenomenon,
It
but I'm
is,
willing to
it's
bet there's not a
definitely.
single person in this room right now that actually liked Frozen.
Okay, we've got two over there. One who did not. I have not seen it.
I've seen it twice, do not like
How
it.
did you
Okay.
not
How do you
like
not
Frozen?
like
We
Frozen?
saw Frozen with
Because
you, and
it
you
was
liked
bad.
it.
Mhm.
I had a lot of criticism of it, and the more I thought about it,
I
the
have
less
criticism.
I
That
There's
is
a
a
lot of
bad.
movies
It is a
that I
bad
like.
Yeah,
sign
but-
when you watch a movie and you dislike it the
I
more
didn't
you
like
think.
it.
That's a bad sign.
I thought it was very well done, and I thought it was a very good movie for young girls to be obsessed with, as far as
Oh,
movies
definitely.
for young
Oh,
Way-
girls.
young girls.
Yeah, yeah. If you're gonna
Hey,
have
I'm
your
a
if you're
teacher.
gonna
That's
have your
gotta be
daughter,
important to me.
if you're gonna have your daughter obsessed with a thing, let it be Frozen and not anything related to Twilight.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about
Okay, well,
obsession,
when you put it like that, yeah, totally a good
and
movie.
Guardians.
Huh?
We were going through the previews.
So back in previews.
No, we talked about the Guardians. I mean, there's just not much to say. It's a really good action movie. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie.
It didn't feel like 2
Chris
hours,
Pratt,
which was
Zoe
good. Yeah, I'm
Saldana,
getting sick
Zoe
Zoe
Saldana.
Saldana.
Whatever, I don't know her name that well.
She's awesome.
She
Sal.
is.
Darn.
Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, and Dave Bautista. And to
Which
my
is-
knowledge, the only movie he's been in.
He was in Riddick. Not the most
The first
recent
one. The
Riddick.
first one.
No, the most recent one.
Oh, the
He was
most
a prison guard or whatever, a
Dave
mercenary.
Bautista?
Or, he had a small role. He was in it.
Okay, his first major role in a
The most
movie.
recent Riddick.
Uh-huh.
I would
The
not be
only
surprised
movie you're
if
ever
we
gonna know
actually
him
saw
in.
more of Dave Bautista in more things after this.
He's got a very specific role he could fill, but it's a role that does take place in a lot of.
Action movies,
But
as it
if
were.
you need a fight scene, you can't get much better than The Rock or Dave Bautista.
No.
I mean,
No.
in all honesty, I'm
Definitely
surprised.
better than Hulk Hogan.
Well, Hulk Hogan just needs to stop being a thing entirely.
Yes.
I mean, he was cool back in the 70s, early 80s. He needs to stop being a thing.
Can
Oh.
we just say Jones?
Yes. From Clinton Jones from White Collar was the guy who arrested Chris Pratt and all of that.
White collar means a lot to us, so
Oh,
it made it
um,
better.
Oh, while I've got you here, Internet, go see Sharknado 2. Just
You
do
don't have to go anywhere. I
Don't.
see it. It's funny.
Also, going on about the actress, Lee Pace played the villain. If you could tell, based on all of the makeup.
Yeah, they really did a number.
Glenn Close was in the film, and
Was she the one with the curly twirly
Yes.
hair?
Oh
She
yeah,
was
yeah.
the-
She was a
she
good,
was
like
phenomenal.
the main Nova lady.
and
Prime,
and
I
John
thought
C.
Nova Prime was
Wiley.
the location.
No,
Yes.
Nova
I thought that
Prime
was the
is
name of the.
no, she's the prime
It's the
commander
name
of
of
them.
them.
No, the planet is Xandar or
Oh,
something.
okay.
The
And
city
there's
was
I thought the
Nova.
race were called the
Force.
Xandar.
No,
Zendarian.
Okay.
Zendarians.
There's actually quite a bit of aliens, like just
Yeah.
kind of drifting around in this movie, sort of like how Star Trek should be. J.J. Abrams.
They don't call
If you
Earth
screw up
Earth,
Star Wars,
so you
I
gotta
will
keep
find
along
you.
with that.
It's like
They call it Earth in the beginning, but then they stop calling it Earth.
and they
and
call
so
it
you gotta,
Terra.
Yeah,
and
you gotta
people
keep
from
up
Earth
with
are
it.
Terrans or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm.
And you know what? That makes sense. If we do ever
Yeah.
encounter intelligent aliens, I imagine they got their own name for this place.
Yeah.
Primitive?
I mean, hell, let's say they're from Venus. I bet they don't call it Venus.
Primitive. I mean, hell, he was carrying around a Walkman the whole
He
time.
was. We don't even use.
How
Walkman.
did they even find that
Well,
to
hey,
use in the movie?
Sony.
It probably
they still
didn't
use
it
actually.
was Sony. It had Sony's name on it.
I know that, but
Can I
do
just
they,
say how
do they
disappointed
make
I
one
was?
special?
No one unrolled it, and like, what is this?
Dude, you have any idea how much he would have killed
I know
people?
I'm not on camera, but I'm doing the motion
Yeah,
of unrolling it.
Unrolling the
Because I could
tank.
see Groot doing that. Like,
Yeah.
that
And
would have been a good after credit
He
scene.
would have
better
lost
than the
his
duck.
mind.
Oh, I totally called what was in that package.
Another tape, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I thought
Oh,
John C. Riley was good. Glenn Close was good. There are plenty more spoilers.
Oh, and trust us, stick through the opening cancer scene. It's very sad, and it's a
He
weird.
didn't even think it was part of the movie.
It's a weird way to
it's
start.
part of
They didn't have, like, normally they have the, like, roller coaster ride with get
They
concessions in the lobby.
You were getting concessions in the lobby. They did have that.
It
But-
starts so quickly, though. They don't do
But
the
they-
Lionsgate or whatever.
No, they have
Yeah.
none of that.
Yeah.
No, it starts so quickly. It is very easy to think it is a commercial.
And trust us, the cancer scene, it's hard, and it's a weird way to start the movie.
Very.
I mean, for plot, I guess, and
You
characterization.
call it a weird way. I thought that was them rushing into the movie,
No,
honestly.
it's also a major comic book Easter egg. If anyone knows the comic books or just wants to Wikipedia Star Lord when they
Yeah,
get
there's
out.
No, I mean, I
There
knew
is-
all of that. It's
we-
just they
we-
rushed into
We
it.
go
I
see
felt.
the collector again, and if you like, I'm sure that there's going to be weirdos out there who freeze frame the hell out of that scene just so they can pick out all the little Marvel tidbits hidden all over that room. Because I'm sure there was a whole bunch, and I just didn't bother to keep track, except for Lloyd Kaufman, who has nothing to do with
But
the
he was
Marvel
in the
universe.
prison, not in the collector's area.
Whatever.
Well, I think that's about all we have to say.
And I'm out of water, so bye.
Go see the movie.
Bye.
I command you.